Hey there, and welcome back to the Virtual Cafe for another coffee convo about business finances. I'm your host, Kerry Zarb, and I am joined by Kim White. We invite you to join us at our table with your favourite brew. Let's pull up our chairs and get into today's episode. Come on, let's go. It's coffee time.
Hey, Kerry. Oh, sorry I'm late, Kim. Man, I've just been running so much and, wow. I didn't mean to leave you hanging.
Kerry, I will wait on you as long as I need to, Kerry.
Nah, Kim, I like to be on time and present in the moment. Sometimes I like to even be a little bit early.
Early's good, Kerry, but life happens and I get it.
Mm-hmm. Did you order already?
I did, Kerry.
Oh, good. What are you having? What should I get? What's going on?
I am having coffee with ginger in it, Kerry.
Oh, back on the ginger again. Awesome. Nice. Well, Kim, I'm going to skip the ginger and I'm just going to get my normal skinny latte.
I love you and your skinny latte.
I know. I hope one day it makes me skinny.
Wait, that's not what happens every time you drink it?
It should be. I agree. So, Kim, I've got an interesting conversation for you today, and I purposely didn't give you too much of a heads up about this one because, well, I think you'll like it. It's going to be a little bit spicy.
You know I love me some spicy, Kerry, even in my coffee.
So, Kim, I've got a question for you. Are you a Kerry Tightar?
Well, maybe I need the definition of that, Kerry, before I tell on myself.
That's a good idea. So, Kim, over here in the land down under, a tight ass is someone that's really not wanting to spend money a lot, and they watch their beans like a hawk. Okay, so true confession here, hence why I called it Kerry tight ass, is because I'm like that with everyone's money. So I like everyone to keep all their beans and make sure that they're not wasting money. And Kim, you know this, simple subs, it's out there, everybody's heard it before, and it is about saving money because I want people to save money in business and in life. So I've kind of been coined a little bit the Kerry tight ass because I can't help it.
Kerry, I want to say you do that to protect all of us. Like, you do that to protect your beans and your clients' beans and the community's beans. Like, you are always protecting all of us. So I don't have a problem with you doing that, Kerry, as long as I get to do some fun things.
Well, Kim, you raise a good point because we can't be a tight ass all the time. Sometimes we need to open our purse strings, back in the day when we had purses and strings, and let go a little bit of some of the beans because, I don't know about you, Kim, but I kind of feel like there is such a thing as good spending, and there's times when we can be, and let me go back for a second, Kim. Do you guys over there in the States even call it tight ass, or is it called something else?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't cuss, Kerry, but yeah.
Okay, because I thought I'd heard the word in our travels somewhere about being a tight wad instead.
A tight wad, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Same thing?
Same thing.
Oh, good. Just making sure we're on the same page.
Definitely the same page, Kerry, and I will tell you, I have waffled. Can I just say that? I have waffled back and forth between being a tightwad and then being way too free with my money. I have waffled back and forth out of not knowing how to be in that middle part of good spending that you're talking about.
And Kim, you raise a really good point there because I feel like, and we talked about this over on Buckets and Boom Gates the other day about the peaks and troughs when we were talking about roller coasters. It's the same for money because this happens to me accidentally. I just feel like this is a full Kerry confession session, by the way, but this happens to me where I get so busy working in the day I forget to eat, and then it gets to dinner time, I don't eat breakfast. I normally have like a midday snack and then I'll go straight to dinner. But dinner for me, by the way, is like 4:30. I don't have the traditional evening dinner, but if I skip my midday snack and I go straight to dinner, I fill that plate up Like, my eyes are bigger than my stomach and I really pile up the food. I get halfway through it and go, oh my God, who was I feeding? What was I thinking? What has happened? How am I going to fit it all in? And you don't want to waste food because, again, I'm Kerry Tightar, so there's no waste in the food department. But I probably almost send myself into a food coma with the amount that I'll consume. So it's feast or famine, it's the peaks and troughs because of the starvation that I've put myself through. And then I want to fill up and make up for the lost time, not realising that the size of my stomach isn't big enough to handle it.
So, Kerry, the word that comes to my mind is ravenous. When I have starved myself, I am ravenous, which means I'm not making good decisions.
In 2022, I started sharing a special tool out to the universe that has since saved this community over $95,000. As your financial designer, I know what it feels like to find random charges on your bank or credit card statement. If you want to get in control of your recurring payments, Simple Subscriptions is the free tool for you. I host a live tour of Simple Subscriptions every quarter. It's completely free for you to attend and get this amazing tool. Let me show you how Simple Subscriptions can save you money and help you track your progress. Come and hang out with me and other entrepreneurs in the virtual cafe and let me show you how you can find those nasty charges and start saving money. Head over to kerryzarb.com to register for the next live tour, and while you're there, grab your free and private copy of Simple Subscriptions so you can get started on saving money.
Oh, Kim, I get it. Back in the day, we used to go grocery shopping after work before eating dinner.
Oh.
Danger, red flag. When you are hungry and you go to the supermarket and you're buying like a week's worth of groceries, boy, can you spend some extra money because you're hungry and you've already picked out what you're having for dinner. You've something quick and easy to put in the oven when you get home, or you even buy something almost ready-made while you're out so that you can eat as soon as you get home. But you keep filling up the trolley because you're starving, right?
Here, we pick up our groceries every week, and I order online. Like, this is what we do. Troy asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was just true. Whenever they dropped the groceries in the back seat of our truck, when we pulled off, he said, "Were you hungry when you ordered?"
Maybe a little bit.
Basically bought about 3 weeks worth of stuff, Kerry, is what I did.
So easily done, Kim. So easily done. And going back to what you were saying about, going on those escapades of we're not spending a lot of money. Like, I'll be completely like, no, I'm not shopping on Amazon. I will keep putting things in my Amazon cart, but I won't check out. And right now, there's thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and always is, in my Amazon cart. However, it's more of a memory bank of things that I've searched for rather than pressing the button. But then the next wave rolls through, and I'll go through the cart as well as something else that I was looking for in particular, and I'll be like, oh, while I'm here, let me get this and this and this and this and this, and it turns into this retail therapy session. Really, I didn't save. All those weeks I didn't spend anything. Then I've just spent it all at once. So I didn't actually save any money.
My goodness, Kerry, have you been looking at my bank account? Is that what you've been doing? Because I'm thinking this is so me over the last, I don't know how many decades. This is something that happens. And I will say this is totally different after learning from you so many things. So the virtual cafe sessions, the therapy sessions in the virtual cafe have been very good for me. Let me say that. But I feel like that's a lifetime lesson of, if we don't get this right, if we don't figure out that middle part, we do that all or nothing over and over and over.
So, Kim, how do you think that this ties into our business finances?
Oh, snap! This is spicy.
I'm coming in hot, Kim. I really am. I was a little bit excited about this conversation and I was a little late to the party, but I made it. And I think for me, when I think of my personal spending versus my business spending, I bring the same kind of, what's the word for it? Routines, habits, patterns, all those things. I bring that with me because after all, I'm the human. I'm the one that's in the personal spending land. I'm the one that's in the business spending land. I tend to do the same thing. When I boom-gate the spending, I boom-gate both sides, personal and business. And when it's time to open the floodgates and need a bit of retail therapy, I don't just shop personal for retail therapy. I'll shop business as well.
You are getting so spicy, Kerry, because I will say this. So confession for me as well. I have spent time personally being very locked down, I'll call it, very tightwad, very restricted. And then I watch myself do foolish things in my entrepreneur life, in my business stuff, because I didn't get that middle part. So I have an extreme going on one side, whether it be personal or business, and then I have the other opposite extreme and the other one. So Kerry, I think if we don't get a handle on this and we don't have some accountability like with you, I feel like that is something that we can just continue to play that out in different scenarios instead of really finding out what the problem is.
And Kim, the issue with that is, I believe, most of the time, if we have financial stability around us, we can do that. We can have the peaks and troughs, and we can follow the flow of our emotions of what's going on and how we're feeling, and if we need the retail therapy in personal or business or a bit of both. However, when times get a little bit tough and we need to tighten the purse strings, that's the opportunity, I believe, where we can really utilize a little bit of, I'd like to call it pain and reward. However, in this episode, I'm just going to call it the reward. We need to give ourselves an allowance and give ourselves the ability, both personally and professionally, to have some money to spend. But put a lid on it, put a little cap on it. Don't just open the purse and let it all go and take away all the control that we've been holding on to. We can trickle it through. And if we want to spend something a little bit more significant, sometimes we need to have an element of control to wait a few weeks and go, okay, well, this is my plan. This is how much it's going to cost. So for the next 4 weeks, I'm not going to buy X, Y, and Z because I'm saving up for this. You might already have the money sitting in the bank account. However, a little bit of self-control that we can train ourselves to go, no, you know what, dickhead, you just need to calm your farm. You just need to relax and actually ride this wave and control yourself and go, well, okay, it's not desperate now. So in 4 weeks' time, I'm going to press the button. So kind of it is pain and reward because you're going to wait the 4 weeks and then you get the toy or the tool or whatever it is. However, at the same time, it gives us that option to take control and control ourselves. What do you think of that, Kim?
I think controlling ourselves is the hardest part, Kerry. I think it's the simplest and the hardest, honestly. But Kerry, you also brought up something in what you just said that I feel like is really important. Of the control that we have is an illusion of the outside things. So if we have a business, and even if we have money in that business, that's not the time to go on silly spending sprees that are not for a purpose. Because what happens during the time that something does happen, we don't need to live in fear, and we don't need to live in that tightwad state all the time, Kerry. But I feel like that is something that, the wealthy people that surround us, they're aware of their money. They're not frivolous all the time. And I think that's a different thing than being so tightwad that you just create that environment over and over of that frivolous or that too much.
I think you're onto something, Kim. I think there's a lot of value in what you just shared because we, as humans, want to be frivolous. We want to be generous. And sometimes the generosity is on the inside, and sometimes it can extend to the outside. But knowing what we can and can't do and when we can and can't do it, and like you said, don't have fear. We're certainly not having this conversation to put fear in people. Just having a bit more of a realistic view of our beings can make a huge difference, I think.
I think it's made an enormous difference to me, Kerry. And I just want to say thank you to you for, like, even the club, for the things that you've given me tools to figure things out and come to those good decisions instead of just floundering. Because I do feel like that's what it is. Then you beat yourself up because you did spend too much. And then you go back to the, okay, I'm going to be really tightwad again. And then you do it again. And so that's a very guilt and shame induced cycle. Like, it is very, very hard. And I don't know about you, Kerry, but when I was little, if I got $5, I had to spend it because I was so excited I had that money. And I thought if I didn't spend it, I would lose it.
Yep.
I have caught myself as a grown up doing some of that silly stuff in my head, and I have to watch myself even to this day of, you know what? This is not the last $5 I'm going to have. I don't have to go spend it so I don't lose it. Like that's just something that, anyway, sorry, Kerry, that's my confession again.
No, you're fine, Kim, and I completely relate because I was the same. Money burnt a hole in my pocket. In my very first job, when I got, and this was just a couple of years ago, where you actually got a yellow envelope that had your name on it, and they wrote the amount. It was more like the bloody lunch school bag to put your order in for your party pies, but you actually got the envelope and it had cash in it, like the cash and the coins to the exact amount. It was all written on the front, like all official like. And I remember getting those and going straight up the street to the shops after work on payday and going and buying all the treats, and then coming home going, oh, now I got to pay rent, I need to buy some groceries, and I got to pay the electricity bill. Oh, whoops, okay. Next week needs to look a little bit different. Like, and I would do that on a regular basis because we didn't have money growing up. So suddenly to have money was like, it was the peak and trough literally of, woo, okay, let's go party. What can we do? And how fast can we spend it? It was pretty extreme. But Kim, many years later, I came across a couple in business, and I watched this interesting game unravel, and it was very much like tit for tat. So Kim, I feel like that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe it's something we can talk about next week. What do you think, Kim?
That would be great, Kerry, because I really need to process what we've already talked about.
It's been a big one, hasn't it? Yeah.
It has, Kerry.
I agree. Well, Kim, I appreciate you hanging out with me in a virtual cafe. As always, this has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you, Kerry.
I'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us in the Virtual Cafe. You can follow the show to be notified of future episodes, and if you're enjoying this podcast, we encourage you to leave a rating or personal review. Until next time, happy biz beans to you. No beings were harmed during the production of this podcast. Information contained in this podcast should be taken as general advice only, and your personal circumstances have not been taken into account. It is recommended that you seek financial advice from a professional who is licensed to do so. If you choose to act upon the general advice shared, you